Hey, we're here on the planet we're here today on the planet with one of my all-time favorite people, Buddy Cook. And the subject came up of one of my all-time favorite people, my godfather and my mentor and my idol. We're talking about Jake Cook. And Jake Cook, to me, I wasn't that good a child, and he probably held onto my ear and almost ripped it off every time we got together, pointing me in the right direction. Thank heavens. I still have an ear, but I still have the memory of him pointing me in the right way. And Uncle Jake, they called him the Flying Saint. In the Roosevelt Bridge accident, they were trying to brace it for a storm coming in on the bridge in Roosevelt Town, sort of heading towards Canada, and just the main wires were up, and they were up in the gantry. The story I get, there was 3 of them. The gantry went down in the storm. The other 2 people died, and my Uncle Jake fell into the mud cofferdam that they'd built for the cement. Given up for dead, they finally saw his belt hanging out, hooked onto it, jerked him out of the mud, and he was alive. Why? Nobody knows. But Buddy really remembers Uncle Jake.
Oh, he was quite a person. I remember when the bridge went down and buckled. I was in school, and I was 20 miles away. You could hear the sound when it buckled. But Jake was quite a person. I didn't want to call him Uncle on the job when I worked with him. We were both iron workers, so I called him Cookie. But the only name he knew was mine. Buddy this, Buddy that. Buddy this, go up there and do this, Buddy. Go down here and do this. And I asked him one day, I says, those checks you get for other people, I want you to read those names so you'll learn how to call them once in a while besides just me. Him and I were very close. I loved him. He was a person with a lot of stories. But working with him, he was one of the nicest persons you ever want to work with. And I remember one time he didn't show up for work. He must have had a couple of beers. And it made me good to wake him up. I went over, he used to stay at the YMCA. And I went over there, I went to his room, and there he was, sound asleep, snoring. I said, "Hey, Cook." "Oh, hey, what's wrong? You know what time it is?" "No." I says, "It's after 8 o'clock. You're late for work." "Oh," he says, "go get everything started." I said, it's working now. So I never let him forget that. I like that. It's the only time he ever done it to me. But
What city? What city?
Oh, that was in Utica, New York. Yeah, we were working on the state building. It was a 17-story building. It was a lot of fun. He was a good person. And I loved him. And I wish there was more people like him. Not the drinking part, but as a person.
And you worked a lot in New York City, didn't you?
No, I never did. I had a chance to work there. I just never got there. I worked Utica, Syracuse.
I remember him talking about New York a lot.
Oh, he did.
Some of the buildings they did.
Well, the World's Spear there that they had there for my older brother welded their names in it. And I came close to seeing it, but I never stopped.
I got to stop this last summer. It's where the World's Fair was in New York City. It's right on the end of Long Island, and it's still there.
Did you see the names?
Yes, sir, I did. You can't miss them because they're right there where Hogansburg is, or now it's called Akwesasne, where Partridge drum.
Yeah.
White men call it St. Regis Indian Reservation. We called it home.
He had me quit a good job one time. I says, "Why do you want me to quit? I'm working right near home." "Oh," he says, "you come to work for your uncle." So I drove 200 and some miles the next day. That was on a Thursday. Worked Thursday, worked Friday, came home. The next week I went down there. Then he laid me off because I wasn't a union man there. he He was quite a person. I miss him. My father's brother.
He lived his life out on the road building iron.
Oh, he was a good iron worker. Yeah, boy. You know, he could have got killed during the war, World War II. But he came home. Boy, he was a lot of fun to work with. You could have a lot of laughs. Just keep away from the booze.
And damn proud to be an Indian.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He used to belong to the same club I joined. Yeah, years ago. I wish he was back around.
Well, I do too. I sure miss him, but a lot of him went into making me. You couldn't help it because I can still feel my ear being tugged every time I go the wrong direction.
He was a good guy.